Hey everyone, James Labrie from Dream Theater, and you're listening to or watching the podcast Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian. Enjoy this. These guys are extremely informative. I love their dialogue. I love their interpretation of the songs, who and what we are, what we were going after. They're very accurate in their interpretations and descriptions, and I just think this is a great show, and these guys are doing a stand-up stellar job. So once again, enjoy Talking Into Infinity with JT and Brian.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater-centric podcast. I am your host, John. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as the network. Fuck it. The intro's blown. Oh, well. TalkingIntoInfinity.com, the CMS Network Rumble page, CMS Network Locals page, yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. If you are tuned in on YouTube and have not done so already, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. Without further ado, let's bring in someone who probably will not screw up their intro. He is, of course, the esteemed Brian Hendrickson. What's up, man? That was a flame out right at the beginning.
I don't know how I can follow that, man. It's like,
yeah. Doug McCauley, great to see you. He nailed it. He says, LOL, John bailed on the intro. Yes, I did.
That was a 4 out of 10. I feel very confident I can at least probably get a 3, maybe.
Right.
At this point.
Luke, the composer, checking in. It's great to see you, bro. He says, hey, everyone.
Nice.
Thanks for checking out the show, dude.
Last time Luke was on, like, everyone went over to his whatchamacallit, and I don't think anyone watched our show.
Yeah. Hey, that's fine, man. Get some promo for his work.
That's right.
It's good stuff, man. So obviously we are here, tonight to talk about the retirement announcement by Megadeth. We have a couple things that we wanted to get to real quick before we do that. But yeah, that's as soon as I saw that announcement, I was like, yeah, whatever we were going to do, like we kind of need to, switch gears here, because it's kind of crazy, and I'll get to this, but Megadeth was a lot more influential for me than I remembered. So, definitely have some personal stories, and wanted to go through the discography a little bit and get your thoughts on each of the records and stuff like that. But before we do that, kind of a interesting news day musically. One good, one bad. Obviously, the bad being that Brent Hines, who recently either left or was kicked out of Mastodon, he was killed in a motorcycle crash last night. So that is just like crazy sad, man. I think the only positive I can find about it, or find out of it, I should say, is that he was in this big band and, touring the world, and then they had a falling out, and he basically didn't have to deal with the back end of his life not being on that level, or, going broke or anything like that. But other than that, that's just crazy sad, man. I mean, I don't listen to Mastodon, not because I don't like them, but because I just never dug into them. Are you a fan? And what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man, big fan, as I've mentioned maybe a few times. I don't really know any of the details surrounding how or why he left. They were all massive partiers when they first started, and I think most of them got it together. And I don't want to just magically say that he didn't, because that could be totally wrong. But bands, I mean, that's a long time to be married to 5 guys, right?
Yeah.
We're talking 25 plus years, I guess, at least, when you factor when they first started and whatever. Those guys were always super, super tight, and everyone kind of shared in everything. And there was no like really egos or stars in that band. Everyone kind of contributed a ton. It's just a sad thing. And not to go off on a tangent about motorcycles, but I don't know, man. Anytime nowadays, if you ride a motorcycle and there's cars around, and how much people text and drive, it's just like, I'm not saying you can't ride your motorcycle, like otherwise you just lock yourself in your house and never leave, right? But man, it's just so dangerous. It sounds like somebody ran a stop sign or didn't yield or something. If I read that right, was it a yield something or
a female driver, it said, in a BMW SUV failed to yield when making a left turn, so basically smacked into him.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just I'm with you, man. It's very sad and it's dangerous, like you said, the texting and driving and stuff, and not to get on a high horse or anything. I've been guilty of it myself. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, I had one of my closest buddies, from back in the day. He lost his life in a motorcycle crash. Somebody not being responsible behind the wheel, and God, I think it was mid 30s, maybe.
Oh wow.
Late 30s at most, and Army veteran. He was an Air Force pilot. Yeah, it's just it's crazy how you see this stuff, man, and very, very sad. And I feel bad for the guys in Mastodon's former bandmates, because it's you never know what the last thing you say to someone is, and if there was bad blood at the time of his passing, it's like you're never going to get the chance to kind of get that back, and that's just so unbelievably sad. So
yeah, and one of the few, even though he just left, so I'm not going to call it irony, but one of the few bands that kind of kept the core together that long. That just kind of doesn't really happen a lot anymore. You just don't have these bands that stay together with that many people for that many years. It's kind of a thing of the past, and just so many solo artists now, and the music is just changing all the time. We're seeing, and man, we're with this news of Megadeth, we're just we're getting old, man. We keep sort of preaching about the end coming here, and it's like, I don't want to be apocalyptic about it, but it's a lot closer than we think for some of this stuff.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, it's when you think about it, it really is kind of getting that way. And it sucks, because like I'm one of those people that like doesn't feel old at all. And I'll be 50 in February. So for me, it's like, God bless America. Like, this really is kind of it really creeps up on you, man, like you said. So it's like, man, it's weird.
So Dave is going to be 64, Mustaine. I was curious at his age. 63 now, be 64 in September.
It does seem kind of like, he would be older, doesn't it? In a way, like,
I mean, in some ways, yeah, and in some ways, I don't know, because we hang on to like, I've got my Peace Cells here. I remember getting the cassette in 86, and like, these guys aren't that much older than me,
Dude,
which I guess they really weren't at the time. I mean, so I was 18 basically, and he was 25, right? 7-year difference. So
yeah. Oh, that's crazy, man. Well, on to the good. Oh, Doug McCauley. Motorcycles. Every stormtrooper that rides a speeder is dead. You need the Force to survive. Nice. And of course,
go ahead.
He throws in the Megadeth pun. Cryptic writing is on the wall. There we go. Anyway,
I would never wish Megadeth on people, not to use a pun here, but
nice.
How come it's the dopes on the rice burners going 95 on the highway that pass you? How come those guys aren't the ones that end up as roadkill?
On the crotch rockets.
I just pray for somebody to just like not be paying attention and just like just like Frogger one of those dudes into the berm and they're done. Because they're like,
nice.
It's like, if you want to go 95 on the back roads where nobody's there, that's fine. But dude, it's like you're putting everyone's life in danger for no freaking reason. It's just so stupid. Like,
well, out by me, there's one stretch of highway where they go on the dotted line, and they go in between the traffic.
Oh yeah, they do that all the time.
100. I'm just like, oh my God, like one wrong move and this dude is just like,
oh yeah, it's like sometimes a matter of 6 inches of somebody's not paying attention, or they don't know someone's flying behind them like that. But
yeah,
anyway,
totally. All right, well, on to the good news. So we also had an album announcement and single drop today from one of my favorite bands. I know that you're a big fan of them too. Of course, we are talking about the new single by Testament, and the new album is called Parabellum. This is great for our audio viewers, but I got the album art up on the screen because I think it's absolutely kick ass, man. It's like got like the angel made of fire with like the wings are made of missiles and stuff, and yeah, I thought the new single was really cool. They were talking about how in the description of the music. Eric Peterson really kind of blended his black metal side with the Testament side, and you can really hear it. And I think it's really cool. And so, obviously it dropped this morning, and I immediately dropped what I was doing at work to listen to it. And it's called Infanticide AI. And again, the album's called Parabellum. What were your thoughts when you first heard the new single?
I mean, it's Testament right off the bat, which is not a
Yeah.
bad thing. I like the fact it's only just slightly over 3 minutes. I would rather get more songs shorter than maybe less songs longer with some of these bands anymore, especially some of these older bands where it's like sometimes you're like, okay, is there enough in there to go 5 minutes on a song?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll probably will have some longer ones too. But man, I thought at 3 minutes it was perfect, man. All those blast beats. Bob, Mr. H from the two Bob shows sent it out to me and the other Bob this morning, and I heard it right away. I was like, wow, it's everything you expect. I mean, they never disappoint. Chuck Billy just sounds like a god, man, screaming his brains out like always, and still melodic and still a force.
Yeah, they're amazing live. I mean, they are just, holy shit, are they powerful, man? Just absolutely powerful. And I personally, I loved the last record. The last record was really an awesome combination of the really classic first few records with that modern production and modern songwriting. So I really thought Titans of Creation was just an absolutely kick-ass blazing record. So really looking forward to this one because it sounds like it's going to be a little different again. So yeah, Parabellum is the album and Infanticide AI is the single. If you haven't checked it out, go do so. Real quick, we have some Dream Theater stuff to talk about. Our buddy Tom Cullen, he says he's at rehearsal, can't listen live, but do you know what announcement Dream Theater has tomorrow? Yes. So Ernie Ball is doing some, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like some kind of live in the studio or something, some series that they're doing. And Dream Theater is going to be on tomorrow. It's the rumored song I've heard that they're playing is Night Terror.
Okay.
So it's not like live, but it's like them playing in the studio. It's like, but it's like a really cool filming thing. It's they're around the drum kit and it just looks really cool. And they're really the biggest name band that has done this so far, from what I can tell. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, I thought there was a small snippet of it on YouTube or something. I saw like a quick preview of it already. So okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like a live performance-y thing, and I mean it looks pretty cool. So it's nothing, I was wondering. I was texting with Sean Faust the other day, and I was wondering if like maybe it was going to be like an album announcement or something, but then I looked it up. It's like, oh yeah, the Ernie Ball thing. I forget what it's called, but so yeah, nothing too crazy, but it'll be interesting. And one last thing, if you guys have not seen yet, I believe Mike Portnoy posted a little bit of it on his socials. I know Wayne Joyner did, but they released a little bit of the video for In the Arms of Morpheus, and it looks so creepy. It's awesome. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check either of those sites out. It just looks so cool. And Wayne also posted that he believes that his video for A Change of Seasons is the best thing he's done in his career. So,
is that all?
Yeah, that's all. Oh, look at Kale. Kale is tuning in from Bali.
Wow.
Look at that. Kale, we already talked about Brent Hines. There we go, to open the show. So,
Kale, are you gigging or vacationing or both?
I think he's vacationing.
Oh, okay.
Next week he's gonna start complaining that Dream Theater is not coming to Bali. Sorry, Kale, had to bust your balls there.
How come you guys aren't coming to Guam?
Yeah. Kale and I were messaging the other day about the fact that Load, Reload, and Saint Anger don't have a single good song on them between the three records, and we were going back and forth because I'm very, very opinionated on that topic. So, all right. Well, it's surprising. I know, right? That's a whole nother. He said there's people that feel that way about The Astonishing. I'm like, yeah, and they're wrong, and I can prove it. But that's a whole another topic for another day. So, all right. So getting down to business here. Obviously, the big news in metal, anyways. Before the Brent Hines thing, but I think this is actually bigger. Megadeth has announced their retirement. So their next record, which is coming out, I want to say they said like early 2026. It's going to be their final studio album, and it'll also be their final world tour. So, we've been going since 1985, and they're hanging it up. So, what were your initial thoughts when you saw the news that Dave was calling it quits?
Well, as always with these things, you want to go, what does that really mean? Okay. Is this a Vince Neil calling it quits? Is this a Kiss calling it quits 10 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, what does this mean? Does this mean he could still go out and solo tour? Because I can't stand the fact that, well, it's Vince Neil anyway, but like, I would hate to think if he like kind of stops and then like decides to go out, just tour sort of solo. And then like, even though I guess it's kind of a solo band now anyway, right? But to just go out as Dave Mustaine and then play all the same songs again, does that sort of ruin everything if he does that? Or what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's basically what he's doing now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's Dave Mustaine and the 18th guitar player and the 14th drummer. And
that's true. That's true.
So, but what's interesting is that if he goes out as Megadeth, he's going to get his $100,000 a gig or whatever the hell he's making. If he goes out just as Dave Mustaine, he's going to get like, what, 40, 50 grand. It's funny how that works. But I don't see him doing that just because what's the point? He's already doing it. So there's not really a purpose for him.
Okay.
To do that. So yeah, I mean,
true.
Kale says third bassist. Yeah, that's why I didn't mention the bass players, Kale, because I know there's only been a handful, whereas every other position has been like, rotating, like every couple of years. Doug McCauley says it's been a solo band since Super Collider. Yeah, that's true. Probably before that.
Would you be on board? I mean, it's never going to happen, but I would. I just wish he would patch it up with Ellefson and like just let him go out at the end, man. I mean, because he's equally as responsible for their early success as Dave, in my opinion.
Yeah, I full disclosure, I tried to get Ellefson on the show tonight, because I just wanted to see what his thoughts were about the whole thing, and I mean, it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting to see if that happens at the end here, because I don't know where that relationship stands. It doesn't look like it's great right now.
Yeah.
But the thing to me about this is the announcement of a retirement, I think would tend to change things, because it's almost like one thing that I learned when my father passed is that it was the first major death that I had experienced outside of like my grandfather. And the one thing that I realized, it's this feeling of part of the difficulty of coming to grips with it is that it's something that is a constant, but all of a sudden it's not there anymore. And all of a sudden your perspective changes because there's an end point. So, this retirement thing, if their relationship is in a shitter, to me, I would kind of look back and go, oh my God, like we're never going to get to do this again. Like, look at all these things we did. Like, so I wonder if it's going to change their dynamic. I wonder if he's going to do the whole olive branch to Ellison type thing. It'll be interesting to see if they, do one huge final blowout in LA or whatever, kind of like Kiss did in New York City. But
so who would you here's a good question. Who would you want to open on this tour if they're truly going to go big, or go big and go home, I guess?
I mean, it would be awesome to see Anthrax because you get two of the big four. Testament would be good because they're basically from that movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it'll be interesting to see what newer bands they get, because that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's cool and all, but I just feel like it would be more fitting to have like some other classic
Right.
bands, you know. Look at Kale. Can I just say that you guys kind of nailed the Rattleheads behind you tonight? They're actually aligned to your sides of the screen perfectly. Yeah,
They are. That's funny.
I know. I didn't notice that. It's funny you say that, Kale, because like Rust in Peace to me is just like an ungodly perfect record. And so, you know, there was an off background for the, you know, the whole show that I used. And I was like, you know what? I can't use any other record but Rust in Peace for my own background. I'll double down. So I did. I thought it would look stupid, but you're right. I've got Vic on the screen on my left and Brian's got his Vic on the right. Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Doug McCauley says David Ellison on the No Life Till Leather tribute is kind of a shot across the bow at Dave Mustaine, isn't it? Yeah, I thought about that too. Doug. I was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. You know, I don't think that was necessary, by the way, that whole No Life Till Leather thing, but whatever, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I mean, back to the point. Yeah, I just feel like classic bands would be more fitting. Like what about you?
Yeah, I wonder if they'll try to do something like the little bit lesser when they, and those bands have toured testament to, like, I don't know, like maybe your Exoduses or your Death Angels, or I don't know, Armored Saint or something, maybe. I don't know, something along those lines. I'd be okay with that too, I guess. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Go out with freaking Anthrax or something, man. You know, or Testament, man. Just go pretty damn big. Why not? You know.
Do you think Anthrax would take any thunder away from Megadeth in a way? I don't, but
I no, not especially knowing that this is the last one for Megadeth. I don't think it would. And normally I might say yeah, a little, but I mean, I just think people are just, especially people our age, they'd be pumped as hell to see a bill like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we'll get to this later, but I saw, you know, a concert. It was Exodus, Testament, or Megadeth, and it was it was amazing.
Yeah.
So, Doug McCauley wants to know, what did you guys think of Rattlehead finding his voice? I found it a bit cringe. I didn't have a problem with it, Doug, because I think throughout the years when you've had kind of like voices in the background, Kale, all right, guys, breakfast is calling. Sorry to love you and leave you, but holiday. Yeah, go be on vacation, Kale, man. Have a blast out there, bro.
It's not a vacation, it's holiday.
Yeah. And very happy for you, man. The Portnoy actually said that they're coming to Australia, so very excited for you, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, they've had goofy voices in songs before, so I have to admit, Doug, like I couldn't really picture it sounding any other way. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. What else is Vic gonna sound like? I guess because I mean I think when we heard his voice and it was the Hangar 18 video or one of the videos I think for Rust in Peace had his voice and it was kind of like that. So, but I have no problem with it. And honestly, I think I might be a little disappointed if it was like really serious and, you know, stuff. I mean, part of the allure is the cheese factor a little bit, you know. So
you want more Crypt Keeper and less Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, that's a great way to phrase it. Yes, yes, yeah. It says like nothing. His jaw is nailed shut, and it's a skull. Good point, Doug. Good point. I will say I wish they wouldn't have redone the original album cover for "Killing Is My Business." I mean, as cheesy and terrible as it is, it's like there's a certain charm to those sorts of things. And when they just replaced it with a piece of art, just a stock, hey, here's Vic with a bunch of scythes and shit. Like, okay, it's not nearly as cool, I don't think. But I mean, did you hear the announcement from Vic? What did you think if you heard it?
I didn't even hear it, to be honest.
Look at this, man. No
was he,
show.
Was he the one that announced the tour and everything? Then is that what you're saying?
It was like the voice that went like this, like
okay,
one of those. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so for me, it's crazy because when I look back on Megadeth, you know, I haven't listened nearly as much in the last several years as I did when I was younger. But I mean, for me, there's just like so many. When I started to think about it, there's for me like it's really a very personal band for me, and the one thing I think that separates them from Metallica, and I always thought Metallica or Megadeth was the technically more proficient band. Aaron Taft Tunis, what's up, guys? What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, man. So I always looked at it like that, but I always gave Dave Mustaine credit for the fact that he put out this shit record, Risk, and Metallica had put out Load, and Dave realized it didn't work. He's like, all right, I'm going to go back to playing metal. And Metallica just doubled down. They're like, no, we're going to do Reload. Oh, now here's this. It's like, it was ass in a hat for the better part of like 15 years. And they were going to ram this thing down your throat. And Dave didn't do that. He's like, oh, that didn't work. People want metal, so I'm going to give them metal. So, I mean,
yeah,
I gave him all the credit. I gave him all the credit in the world for that. But yeah, when I look back, man, like it's crazy because, the first concert I ever went to, I'll say willingly, was Megadeth on the Euthanasia tour. So that was February 5th of 95. And I'll never forget that, dude. It was like 2 weeks prior, I had actually joined Gatlin. I had auditioned for and joined Gatlin. And the song I played to audition for the band was Hangar 18.
Nice.
So yeah, it's I mean, Megadeth is like my gateway into music, being in bands, period, when I really thought about it, because like I said, like I just said, like I tried out on Hangar 18, made the band. 2 weeks later, me and the rest of the guys in the band went to Megadeth. Well, they had seats in the first couple rows of the bowl, that because Megadeth was doing a food drive thing at that point. If you donated a bunch of canned food, you get like backstage pass to meet and greet passes or something. And I had floor tickets. So I went by myself. So none of my friends were, huge Megadeth or metal guys to begin with. And I was like, fuck this, I'm going. My dad would never let me go to concerts till I was 18. And this concert fell, a few weeks before I turned 19. So I was like, oh, I'm going. And I will never forget. I got real close to the front. I was only a few people from the front. I was on the right side. And when they came out, man, I mean, I will never forget the bass hitting me. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Tim Morgan tuning in. He says, sorry, traveling or would be on the live cast. Don't be sorry, man. It's all good. Thanks for tuning in at any time, man. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, when that bass kicked in, dude, I was like, what in Christ's name? It was so heavy. I mean, it was like the perfect first concert. Because it was just so ungodly powerful, and just, it just blew me the fuck away. So that was awesome. And then, God, it was probably a few months later, I want to say, it was actually a couple weeks after that, the singer of the band quit. So the guys were like, oh, we need a singer. Well, we all sing in the car. So I was singing the metal and stuff. That's pretty much all I listened to at the time, outside of Van Halen, obviously. And I was driving the two guitar players somewhere. I can still tell you exactly where I was. I was getting on 480 West. I was like getting on, and we were talking about the singer thing, and they were in the back seat. I was in the front. We had a bunch of gear in the front right seat, or passenger seat. And they were like, I was like, I sing, just joking. And they're like, oh yeah, right, sing something. So I put on Foreclosure of a Dream, and I sang it, and I got done, and I look in the rearview mirror, and they're looking at me, and they go, oh, you're the singer. I was like, whoa, no, no, I'm not. I am not the goddamn singer. No. So, but they were like, oh no, yes, you are. So I got stuck into singing. So I got into bass playing in a band because of Hangar 18, and I got into singing in a band because of Foreclosure of a Dream. So thinking about that stuff, when they announced their retirement was really crazy, because it just kind of, you're reminded of these things, and you're like, God damn, that band is way more influential than I remember. So, what are your early impressions of Megadeth? Because you probably got into them probably, I'd say around like Peace Sells.
Yeah, you're gonna laugh at you're gonna laugh at this, man. So I kind of went through my Striper phase.
Okay.
Where it was like, it didn't have to all be Striper or whatever, and I was still listening to Maiden and Priest and all that. But it was like I saw like the cover for Killing Is My Business, and I was reading the song titles and stuff, and I'm like, this is like, I thought it was like satanic, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just thought, I was like, well, this is stupid, you know what I mean? Like, this is dumb.
Yep.
And then I heard some of it, and I'm like, well, the production is terrible. You know, it sounds awful. I honestly didn't know anything about how he used to be in Metallica. That kind of information really wasn't all over the place like it is now. You know, it's easy to find.
For sure.
Know, you know, and then I don't know if I was watching MTV or something, and I heard that do, you know, and I was like, well, don't they play that, you know, whenever they're doing a news story or something? And then they were playing the video, and I was like, wait, this is that same band? And I was like, okay, I don't care if it's satanic or not. This is amazing. Not that I thought it was, but you know, yeah. And so then Pete Sells, you know, kind of similar to Dream Theater. I told you I was, for first album, was not really that much of a fan of, but I completely hated Killing Is My Business. I thought it was terrible. Like, just sounded like bad garage, you know, mix and everything. But man, then I heard like Wake Up Dead and Devil's Island and stuff. I'm like, well, I guess I better go buy this cassette. So yeah, just I mean, you know, like we talked before, the fun part about some of these memories is like you just have these bands where, okay, that cassette, just reading all the liner notes and the cool artwork, and I'm so pissed off because I had this exact poster like in 88, 89, you know, I was hanging on my college or 88, hanging on my college dorm wall, and I don't know, for some reason I got rid of all these posters. Like, why the hell did you get rid of that? It was freaking amazing. You could probably go buy a reprint of it now, but still, it's not the same.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I was like the production, the sound. I was like, man, this is just this. I just never really heard anything like this before. The way that Dave played those leads and stuff, you know, it was kind of almost like a heavier Yngwie, the way he played, you know, on the pure metal stuff. And I fell in love with it. And then, you know, you go out and you get Rust in Peace, and I have the CD, and you're like reading the same thing, man. You're holding it and you're reading it, and you're like, hey, who's the producer on this? So and so did this on it, whatever, you know. I mean, I forgot it all now, but at the time it was like an encyclopedia, you know. You remembered all that stuff 5 minutes after you read it, you know. Like, you just devour, you just consumed that stuff when you were into it, like I was, and you were, I'm sure. So so yeah, that's kind of, you know, and I sort of stuck with them. I think I've seen them 3 times. You know, never disappoint live, and I think when I went back last couple of weeks, and I was listening to, especially the very last album, Sick, Dying, and the Dead. Man, a lot of, you just kind of forget because you're like, there's just so much to listen to, and you just can't keep up. And something like that comes out, and it probably gets pushed aside way quicker than it should, you know, because you're always just on to the next thing, you know. You're just always, it's just quickly, it's pretty cool, but hey, who else is coming out with a new album? But great album, man. So I'm really kind of excited to see what's going to be on this this farewell.
Yeah, I am too. I think, and that's one of the things that, you know, I got to give Dave credit for, is that even the records, I mean, he really doesn't have a lot that really suck. You know, like Super Collider was crap. Obviously, Risk was crap. 13, you know, had a couple good songs, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's really been pretty solid. You know, I mean. And one thing I wanted to touch on that you hit on there a minute ago, you know, the difference between Killing Is My Business and Peace Sells. Because to me, I can't think of another band where, at least the bands that I listen to regularly, where there was such a stark difference in, you know, pretty much every aspect of it. You know, from production to, you know, to songwriting to lyrics, like it was just so much better. And I mean, I was listening to a bunch of their stuff today, and I mean, you're right. I mean, especially if you listen to an original version of Killing Is My Business, that, I mean, they recorded it on like a $5,000 budget. I mean, it was like absolute peanuts, and it sounds like it. But that was just like a record where it sounded like Dave was so goddamn angry. He was and he's said before, like, oh, the point was to be, you know, the fastest metal band on the planet, whatever. And you can just hear, cause, you know, I mean, stuff like The Mechanics, which is, you know, Metallica turned it into the Four Horsemen.
Yep.
You know, that's a riff like the Four Horsemen, you know, with Metallica, when it breathes, it's like, you know, it's, but what David saying is, like, it
It
just, you
loses it.
can't, yeah, you can't hear anything. And it's just so aggressive and holy shit, man, just punch you in your face. But then you get to Peace Sells and that aggression is still there, but it's controlled aggression. And, the song structures are interesting, they're much better, I feel. And you're kind of like, oh shit, wow. So you can kind of see why they took off the way they did. And, the rest of the catalog, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, especially, God, through, I mean, if you want to say Cryptic Writings, that's fine. I'm not as big a fan of that one as most people are. I mean, it's good, but I mean, even at, you get to Risk, which obviously is a piece of crap, but then you get, The World Needs a Hero. People aren't really big fans, but I mean, that had some cool songs, I thought. System Has Failed, United Abominations, Endgame was awesome. 13 and Super Collider was just garbage. It had one good song on it. 13 had a couple of, but the last two, man, Dystopia and The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead were just kick-ass records. And it's kind of nice. It's one of those comfort food type of bands where you're pretty sure you're going to like it. And I give him a lot of credit for doing that, especially with all the turnover the last, 15 years or whatever. He's writing with all these different people, and yet it still, comes out sounding like Megadeth. And the reason I say that is because, Marty Friedman in his biography talked about the fact that the writing process in Megadeth was much more communal than people think. He said that most people think that it's, Dave writes everything and then kind of shows people what to play. The other three guys kind of put their input in a teeny bit, and then you have a song. And he said, at least when he was in the band, that's not how it was. Like, everybody wrote. And sometimes, on, more songs than you would think, the other guys wrote more than Mustaine did. So, the fact that if it still worked that way with all these other guys in the band, the Glenn Drovers and Chris Brodericks and all those sorts of guys. I mean, if it still sounded like Megadeth to me.
I always like the, what do you think about this, this aspect of a guy comes in and he's a fan of the band and he goes, I want to write something that I know sounds like Megadeth and I know sounds like Dave. Like, to me, that's like, is that like the ultimate compliment, but it's ultimately cool too. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, rather than Dave come up with, okay, because Dave's probably like, okay, well, I've come up with this, a variation of this thing 400 times. Here's someone up from outside the band going, man, I love Megadeth. This to me is what it should be. And I'm an amazing guitar player and riff writer. Here, check this out, Dave. And then do your Dave-ness to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the perfect example of that was when Chris Adler played on Dystopia.
Okay.
Because, hey, Sam, what's going on? Good to see you. Because he said that, like, his favorite band growing up was Megadeth. And so when he was in there working on the record with Dave, he'd be like, well, as a Megadeth fan, here's what I would want to hear in this part.
Right.
Stuff like that. And he said Dave was really receptive to that, which I think is smart. Because if you're, if you have fans sitting there with you,
right,
writing with you, and they're telling you, hey, I would buy the record if it sounded like this. Well, you kind of want to go in that direction. So, it's, I mean, hell, even the most recent record, Sick, Dying, and the Dead, that's a thrash record through and through, man. So
yeah, I just think he's very deliberate and particular on who he, I would love to just watch him kind of sit down and watch, YouTube videos or whatever, or listen to like 10, 12, let's say he narrows it down to like 6 guys, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to just be a fly on the wall when he's kind of going through that process. Cause I imagine I bet it's pretty deliberate. I bet there's like note taking and stuff. And I mean, I could be totally wrong on this, but I bet it's a pretty intense process.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would love to be on a fly on the wall with how things work now. Cause reading Marty Friedman's biography, it sounds like around the time when Marty left the band, it was starting to become the Dave show. Yeah. And so I wonder if things are different now. So I don't know. Maybe I can't say if that's a good or a bad thing, because tastes were shifting away from metal, and really the only metal band that really kept selling a shitload of records was Metallica, obviously. So, if the Rust in Peace lineup had stayed together, and if they would have stayed, on that Rust in Peace countdown euthanasia path, would they have continued to sell, a lot of units and stuff? So
Probably not. That was just everyone's time to go for a while,
right. Beth, you got to introduce Sam to some Megadeth over there, man. I know Billy can do it. So got a sidebar conversation with some friends in the chat going here.
Nice.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how that actually works. But yeah, I think, and I mentioned earlier that I kind of always looked at Megadeth as the more technically proficient band, between Metallica and them. And I think the other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on was, and not recently, I don't think, but, and maybe this is kind of like through a lens of nostalgia, but when I discovered Megadeth, I was like, what, like 14, 13 years old. And to me, they were like kind of like a faster, more loose cannonish, like evil, creepy version of what Metallica was doing. There definitely was a different vibe to it, but it was still in that vein of stuff that you absolutely love. I don't think you could ever meet someone that's like, well, I love Megadeth, but I hate Metallica, or vice versa, at least on the classic records. So to me, it was always awesome listening to, Megadeth, because I was, I've said this on the show before, I was the bullied kid. I was the picked on kid. And I'll never forget, I was in one class one day just getting, I made mention, some kid mentioned some dickhead band that was around at the time. And I was like, man, you listen to that shit. I slipped. And they started giving me crap, and they're like, oh man, we'll kick your ass. Like, you probably listen to pussy music, this, that, and the other. And the very next class was one of my 3 art classes. And I was up there with all the metalheads, and we're bullshitting about Rust in Peace and why it's such a great record. So I was like, yeah, dude, you listen to dickhead. Yeah, you're the one listening to pussy music, not fucking me. So I always thought it was like a really cool kind of, it was just great listening to both bands, because you got 2 different styles of the same type of music. So I always really liked that about Megadeth.
It'll be a fly on the wall for that. Hey man, you listen to pussy music.
Yeah. Well, dude, when you're getting bullied, and they're trying to say like why, the best band in the world is like something like Winger or White Snake, and you're sitting there, talking about Rust in Peace and Slayer and all this kind of stuff. Like,
it reminds me of that. I heard Bill Hader talk about how he met David Lee Roth one time, and was trying to get him to drink. He's like, "What's the matter, man? You got to go to school tomorrow."
Did you hear that? Did you see that Dave? Sorry for the quick sidebar, but did you see that Dave actually responded to that on tour, like literally like a week ago or something? He actually confirmed that that's true. He was talking about it on stage.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, he said, he was like, yeah, it's like, that's completely true. He said, but I just want you to know that like I was being responsible. Those were not morning beers. Yeah. Those were the beers that were still left from the night before. We had not gone to sleep. So it's like I did the adult thing. So I mean, Dave is a clown anymore, but that was hilarious. So, Doug McCauley. I once Weird Al'd an entire Megadeth song, 99 cents for fries.
Nice.
99 cents for fries. That's awesome. That is,
you got to send us the lyrics to that, Doug, and we'll put them on the show.
Yes, I would love to see it. That 99 Ways to Die is like a criminally underrated song. So, but yeah, I mean, so I always thought Megadeth was kind of cool like that. And then it also didn't hurt that, in 92, we went to visit my grandparents in Harlingen, Texas, which is like one town away from Brownsville, I think it is, which is like the southernmost city in Texas before you get to the Mexican border. And we went into, a Mexican border town, and we were, looking at all this stuff, and in this like junk shop, pretty much, it was just like all kinds of weird knickknacks and crap. I found a sealed copy of Countdown to Extinction. And it was like, same record, same everything, but all the liner notes were in Spanish.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so cool. So like, I couldn't wait to get to school and show all the metalhead kids, like, check this out, dude. Like, I've got a foreign version of the record. So I wore that thing out like it was. I
Would have
can't
been
even tell you.
dope if the vocals were in Spanish too when you put it on.
Right. That's how I got in. That's how I got in Gatlin. I sang For Closure of a Dream, but all in Spanish. Like, I can't even, I would try and do it now, but I don't know any Spanish.
Yeah, I
Doug
don't
McCall, not ready to hit you yet. 99 cents for fries.
All right, we've all got homework. Everyone come up with a Weird Al Megadeth song for next week.
Oh my God. Don't you and I especially should not get started on that, man. So but yeah, so anyways, yeah, so I mean going back to the quality of the the discography. I mean especially, I mean it's an obvious statement, but god damn, I mean, say what you want about Killing Is My Business, it's still, you'd listen to it over a lot, some of the later stuff. So I mean, Killing Is My Business. You just talked about that. I mean, Peace Sells. We talked about. I mean, what did you think of So Far So Good So What? I love that record.
Yeah, another one that had the cassette, and I thought the production was funky. Something happened on that one. The production got funky, like between Peace Sells and Rust in Peace. I don't know what they did. The guitars and drums just. I don't know. They lost something. They lost some heaviness on that for me, and it came back and massively on Rust in Peace. But
yeah,
yeah, man. I mean, Darkest Hour. 502.
Yeah.
Pull over,
shithead. This is the cops.
Yeah, I mean, all those stupid little Dave things. It's like
right.
You love to make fun of them, but they're so cool at the same time. They're so dumb, but they're so funny and cool.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah, I love that album, man. Yeah.
I mean, really the only kind of, I would say kind of like crap moment is really the cover, Anarchy in the UK. Like I could do without that, but
I'll take it over Motley Crue's version. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's all week long and 2 times on Sunday, whatever the hell that saying is. Yeah. The Motley version is fucking terrible.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, and that's another one I listened to today. I had forgotten how much I love the song Mary Jane.
Oh yeah, great one.
Oh my God. And Hook and Mouth is just so unbelievably great. The interesting thing to me is that, like, I mean, I was, I listened to the stuff on Amazon Music, and you can't get the original versions of the records anymore on there, most of them anyway. And so you get those 2004 remasters where he kind of redid the drums and the bass and everything. And the So Far So Good So What one sounds a little wonky in a way, because it's like the mix is kind of strange, because there were some things going on there you couldn't hear in the original. You really wanted to make sure you heard them on the remaster. But what's interesting is that I mean, it's common knowledge, they were really messed up on drugs doing that record.
Oh yeah,
like, they were just a complete disaster. And you can hear it on these remasters because the tracks are cleaned up, and so you can hear in, like, some of the speed picking and stuff, like you can hear that's a little rough in spots. I mean, you can really hear the rawness and how tore up they were. But to me, it's kind of the charm of the thing. And his voice was just at its snarliest, I think. And just a great record. And then obviously you get to Rust in Peace on the next one, which is, you can hear the difference between on this one. It's the difference between, Heroin Dave on So Far So Good So What and Sober Dave on Rust in Peace. And it's like, oh boy, like, wow. Like, why won't you stay sober just to keep writing stuff like this?
Yeah.
So,
well, just started writing more epic songs too. Those first 3 albums, like, I don't think any of them clock in at hardly like 38 minutes, do they?
Yeah, they're not
really
crazy long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but they'll have like 8, 9 songs on them. Those early records. There's not a ton of songs. Which is kind of cool though. It's kind of get in, get out. And yeah, for me, Rust in Peace is just, I mean, it is an absolutely flawless album. It is just, true, man. Chastity Crawley says, I hear Mary Jane and want to ask if you all know about the honor of God. Nice. Bringing it back to Dream Theater for a minute. Yeah, Rust in Peace, I think, is an absolutely untouchable record. It's just every single note is perfect, and oh my God, it's kind of cool to me that this is their fourth record, and Justice for All is Metallica's fourth record, and that's my favorite metal record ever. I mean, what a man. So apparently these guys really, honed their craft on the first three and then put out their masterpiece albums as the fourth one. So what do you think of Rust in Peace? Is it your favorite Megadeth record, or do you prefer Peace Cells or something else?
That's tough, man. I remember buying this and Empire together, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, which is funny. I bought both discs at the same time, I think, if I remember correctly.
Huh.
Man, favorite album. I guess it's between those two, right? I mean, I probably lean slightly more towards Peace Cells, just because I think it's more of a get in and get out. Not that I don't love all of the shredding and everything on Rust in Peace, but yeah, I mean, the difference between the first two and then the difference between So Far So Good So What and then getting to Rust in Peace, I mean, it's probably as big as it is between 1 and 2, right? I mean, it's just a leap. I mean, he just, at the time, Marty Friedman was known as this guitar god. He had been in what was the name of that damn
Cacophony?
Yeah, Cacophony, and then he also had a couple solo albums too, I believe. He was one of the Shrapnel, shred guys, and I think one of those things too, because I remember at the time I was always hoping Tony McAlpine would do something. He did a few projects that I don't think that they just didn't work with the vocals. But anyway,
right.
I remember going, "Is this going to be a good idea?" And then you heard stuff like, Hangar 18 and Holy Wars, and you're like, "Yeah, I think this worked. This probably worked out all right."
This is all right.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign off on this one. Yeah, I don't even. Right. I'm trying to think if I even heard anything off of Rust in Peace and before I actually went and bought it. It's hard to remember now because stuff wasn't played on the radio at all hardly back then, obviously. And if it wasn't on MTV, you didn't see it. So I think the first time I ever heard it probably was just putting it on and then like, oh my God, that opening from Holy Wars, you're like, what the hell just happened? Like,
yeah.
It never stopped the whole rest of the album, man.
Yep. Yeah, I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, what the fuck? Like it was just, and like you said, it just never stopped. You go to, I mean, shit, man, Tornado of Souls and the title track and Lucretia and oh my gosh, like even something silly like Dawn Patrol. That's just like kind of like a quick little interlude, but even that's kind of cool because it's so creepy. It's just it's just a nervous system's jerk. I mean, that is just like so amazing. Yeah, all the smoke, man. Good to see you. He says, yeah, take no prisoners. I mean,
take no shit.
Man, yeah, exactly. I have to say that's the one thing that disappointed me about the remasters is he changed the voices, and because there's some of the Rust in Peace tunes have those like backing vocals.
Yeah,
and like Five Magics, would be like, "Oh, I master Magic's 5."
Oh, yeah,
like it's a gang vocal. I don't know why he changed it, but now it goes like, "I master Magic's 5."
Yoda it.
Oh, dude, it's so you have to listen to it. It's so bad,
Why, Dave?
Yeah, it's like so bad. It's like hunting the Abyss Lord. It really sounds like a Muppet performance. I was like, the first time I heard it, yeah,
Megadeth.
It was so jarring. I'm like, what in God's name is this? I mean, it is just so strange. I'm like, why would you do that?
What's next Dave's going to do? Someday you'll find it. The Rainbow Connection.
Right. I mean, oh my God.
What's cool about that album though? It's one of the few albums. There's a few out there, but like Maiden, when you hear like stuff off of Somewhere in Time or Peace of Mind, you see the cover and you're like, yeah, this is what this should sound like. It's like right away, well, it takes a little time to get to it, but like Hangar 18, man, that sounds exactly like this album cover looks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's just certain albums where you're just like this. How this couldn't fit any better? You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they mastered what's on this album, what I'm listening to. They made a visual representation of this. It's the stuff like you're a huge Van Halen fan. Like for me, like 84, man, that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like kind of the same
Yep.
deal. Like that just like it's just a bunch of kids having fun, they're going back to their childhood, just rocking the hell out and just playing these great tunes and having a blast and smoking cigarettes up with a baby or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a silliness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I completely agree. And I think the coolest thing is that they doubled down when they did the Hangar 18 video, because it's they did it like, they had like, I mean, Vic in that control room with all the military guys, like it was the whole presentation just was one cohesive package, and they kind of did that a little bit with Countdown, but they had more videos. So, the Foreclosure of a Dream thing was more of all like the world's blowing up, like the news and all that crap. But yeah, I mean, Rust in Peace itself was just such a complete package in every respect. And I completely agree with you. It like you when you listen to the album, you're like, yeah, that's the album cover. Like there's no disparity whatsoever. I completely agree with you on that. All right, well, that takes us to obviously their highest charting record, Countdown to Extinction. Awesome album. I listened to this actually last week on my way to a gig, and I hadn't listened to it all the way through in quite some time. But this, I mean, that's another just amazing record. And obviously it starts them down that commercial path, unfortunately. Chris Moran tuning in from Wisconsin. Good to see you, bro. He says, how's it going tonight, Brian and John? Good evening from Wisconsin. Good evening, Chris. Great to see you, bro. Yeah, I mean, Countdown, what can you say? It's the record that broke them commercially, and maybe broke them because then they were hit chasing after that in a way. So kind of their.
Do you think it's really a commercial album though?
Oh, I mean, come on, dude. It was. I mean, everybody said it at the time. I mean, it was kind of like their answer to the Black Album. It was no coincidence that Metallica does the Black Album, simplifies and muscles up their sound, and then all of a sudden Megadeth's next record they're doing the same thing. I mean, it's not a coincidence.
I don't know. I look at more Cryptic Writings as being that way than this one, to be honest.
Well, it is. I mean, I would agree with you, but I just think when you have stuff like Foreclosure of a Dream and Symphony of Destruction, and those are clearly songs that were written not to be like, oh, we're gonna play fucking Hook and Mouth and then Foreclosure of a Dream and then Devil's Island, like no. No, it's
still pretty heavy though, I mean,
well, I'm not saying it's not.
It's not The Unforgiven. I mean, come on now.
I know, but I'm just saying when you compare it to what came before, it's definitely an attempt at getting more radio play, getting something out there. And I mean, it worked. If it wasn't for Achy Breaky Heart, that horrible piece of shit, it would have been the #1 record in the country. So,
wow.
But yeah, I mean, amazing record. A lot of great songs that don't get talked about. I'm a huge fan of High Speed Dirt, Psychotron. This Was My Life is just awesome. Architecture of Aggression is such a cool riff. Yeah. Yeah, Doug kind of nails it. He says, Countdown is Rust in Peace energy with euthanasia sound. Yeah. Yep. So, alrighty. Obviously, then we go to Euthanasia. What did you think of this one? I thought it was kind of like very Countdown-y.
At first, I was not a huge fan, but man, this was of all of their albums, this was, well, other than probably the most recent one, this was a grower for me. The more I heard it over the years, the more I really loved it, man. I mean, Toot Le Monde, I always thought that was great. Reckoning Day is great. Elysian Fields, Killing Road. I mean, I don't know, man. It just all Addicted to Chaos. I love that song too.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of one of those where I think when it first came out, I was like, they sort of, well, so at that point, what was it, 3 albums in 4 years, right? Which is kind of a lot, and I know bands put out more, product than they do now, but you're kinda like, "Okay, wait a second, we're just kinda barely getting past the other one, right? And you already got another one out."
Yeah.
I think maybe waiting a couple years might have helped this album a little bit, but, we're right in the edge of the we're 3 years past Nirvana, I guess, at this point, but still, we're still in the full throes of grunge, and metal's, kinda dying and not as cool, and Maiden and Priest are falling apart, and all that's going on, but, yeah, I mean, first time I heard this was not that big of a fan, but the more I listen to it, I think it's probably a little bit underappreciated.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was kind of like Countdown to Extinction minus the sharp edges, if that makes sense. But I thought that there was a ton of great stuff on it. I think I was a little nervous just because I was looking at the trajectory going from Rest in Peace to Countdown to now Euthanasia. But the production's fabulous. I mean, I love the production on it. It's heavy, it's thick. It's probably the best guitar sound I think they've gotten on tape until obviously the newer stuff with like the Andy Sneap type production. But yeah, I loved it from the get-go. I thought Reckoning Day was a great opener. Train of Consequences was really cool. Like you said, Addicted to Chaos. So yeah, I just thought it was a great record, man. I mean, I ran out to buy it, day it went on sale and was not disappointed at all. So totally loved it. And then we get to Cryptic Writings, which is it's weird. It's hard to say that I was disappointed in that album, but I liked it. But I was like, all right, this is kind of confirming my fear of the trajectory type of thing. Because I mean, there's some good stuff on there, but then I think this was the first Megadeth record for me that had forgettable material. And so, the strong stuff is really strong, like Secret Place, Almost Honest. I mean, Trust was, I don't know if you thought the same thing I did, but such a blatant, we need an Enter Sandman attempt. And Marty
Well,
Friedman said as much in his book. But other than
yeah,
that, I mean, this record's half really good and half, okay, it's there. Not bad, but okay.
well, that's why I think this is more their, attempt to go commercial than the one with, than, Countdown, but, yeah, Trust and Almost Honest, I love both songs, but, yeah, it gets, I mean, Have Cool Will Travel, it's I'm starting to get She Wolf, I actually don't mind the song, but, I mean, come on, because it's song title.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, yeah, there's just not a whole lot on here you're gonna go back and listen to, when a band, especially when bands have this many albums, like, if you get a few misses and you've already got so many great ones, it's just gonna be hard to, like, "Oh, I really wanna I really wanna go back and revisit and see if there's some good stuff on there." You're probably not gonna take the time to do it, to be honest, and you're probably not gonna find anything anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting to compare the discographies because I've done it before. I think Aiken and I did it. And when you get to the, between Metallica and Megadeth, fourth record you have Injustice for All versus Rust in Peace. Like, whew. Fifth record you've got Countdown to Extinction against the Black Album. And then you get to the sixth record where you've got Load versus Euthanasia. And then the seventh record, which is Reload versus Cryptic Writings. I mean, after the fifth record, it is an absolute landslide.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the seventh record, which may still be a landslide in favor of Megadeth because you would have Risk versus Saint Anger. So, I think a record full of wombat fart noises would be better than Saint Anger. I just hate that album with such a passion. Yeah. Well, yeah, Doug, his take on Cryptic Writings. By the way, Circle J, good to see you, buddy. It says Cryptic Writings was basically Load to me, handful of songs buried in crap. See, I didn't like any of Load, whereas I liked about half of Cryptic Writings. So, Bo Van Bibber, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. He says, I'm just tuning in, not sure how long I can stay. Just wanted to say Killing is My Business is my favorite Megadeth record. Wow.
Nice.
Really? You don't get that opinion very often,
Give
man.
it up for the old school there.
There we go. Yeah, Bo is definitely a fucking metalhead, dude. He's one of the most metal buddies that I have. But yeah, so we get to Risk here, and that was, talk about jumping the shark. I mean, that record's just, I can tolerate a couple of the songs. I mean, Prince of Darkness is really the only song that sounds Megadeth-ish to me. Like I said, I could tolerate Crush 'Em, I could tolerate Breadline, but it was very clear that this was, again, following the Metallica path and doing the, well, let's do the load thing. And I just remember going, what in the hell is this? And I had read some pre-release stuff about it. People were like, this is not a Megadeth record. Like, this is boy, this is not good. And I hated it. I hated it.
Prince of Darkness, I'm fine with. Crush, Into the Arena, Crush 'Em, whatever. It's, that's been talked about to death. It's fine for what it was, The rest of it, where were the big giant metal moments here,
Yeah.
Point them out to me, other than maybe a couple moments of Prince of Darkness. I don't know.
Yeah, it was, dude, it's funny. Bo Van Bibber, he says, the Doctor is calling Off Risk as a killer tune. I agree to disagree on that one, man. I'm not a fan. I just, it seemed like I didn't like the incredibly, like, monstrous stylistic change. I did not like that one bit. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not a Megadeth record. I mean, I thought Cryptic Writings was enough of a left turn. Like, this was just a left turn off a cliff.
I would still go back and listen to this over Saint Anger. I've tried Saint Anger. I used to do an annual Saint Anger. Maybe this isn't that bad.
No, it is that bad. It will forever be that bad. It's just,
I can't get drunk enough, I guess.
Yeah, just I've even tried to listen to that guy re-recorded it so that it has, decent production.
So it's bad songs with good productions.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And the lyrics that Hammett and Ulrich put in there were just, oh my god. This is the eye. These are the eyes that can't see me. This is the hands that can't touch anything. This is the book that has no words. This is the car that does not see. Like, what is this?
Meanwhile, Kirk weeping. What are we doing to each other?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess it could be worse, But Doug McCauley says, at that time, mainstream metal was trying to find relevance as a genre. Tough times. Yeah, that's for sure. Bobby Coyle, thanks for tuning in, man. He says, Risk is not as bad as people say it is. I'd much rather listen to it than Saint Anger. See, that's a hell of a statement, isn't it, Bobby? Because, I mean, if you're talking Megadeth records, I think pretty much almost any Megadeth fan, would agree. Risk is the very last thing you're listening to in the whole catalog. But it's still so much better than Saint Anger that it's not even funny. I mean, Doug says it, man. We can't compare anything to Saint Anger. It's unlistenable. Ooh.
Well, also, like I was saying, like, at some point, there's going to be diminishing returns. You can't put an album out every 2-3 years. You know what I mean? You're just not going to have, I'd much rather, like, I wish they had said, okay, let's figure this out. Let's go tour. I mean, they're always putting out greatest hits and new collections and new remasters. So that can tide you over. You don't need to crap out a terrible new album, wait 5 years and come up with something great, rather than just like, okay, every 2 years, time for another album, whether you have the material or you don't, and that's kind of, I mean, a lot of bands have did that, but they were definitely pretty guilty of that from that stretch of like, well, what are we seeing here? 97 to 2007. There's another 6 albums or whatever. Like, you could have been fine with just 3, maybe.
Well, I mean, and I mean, let's talk about those. I mean, Bobby Coyle, yeah. I mean, I kind of alluded to that earlier. He says there's no such thing as a bad Megadeth record. There are a couple of stinkers on the Metallica side. Yeah, dude. I said earlier, load, reload, Insane Anger. There's not a single song on there. I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. Whereas bad Megadeth record, I would say Risk. But other than that, you can get something off of everything. And this is moving on in the discography, Brian, like this is what I was talking about, where I give Dave Mustaine a lot of credit. Risk just completely tanked. I mean, it hit number 16 on the charts, but it was not. I mean, Megadeth fans were like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Oop, sorry, let's go back to metal." So then they did "World Needs a Hero," which, while it's not a great record by any means, it's I mean, there's still some cool songs on there, and you could tell that he was getting back into like, okay, I'm not doing that experimental shit. So, Doug McCauley, if Reload was ill-advised, Saint Anger was a suicide attempt. Yeah. Oh my God. Chris Moran, real quick, it says Dream Theater has something coming tomorrow. Do you know what it is, John and Brian? Yes, we talked about it earlier. Ernie Ball has this it's kind of like a live in the studio session thing, and Dream Theater's on there tomorrow. The rumor I've heard is that they're doing Night Terror. So just Google Ernie Ball and kind of go down the rabbit hole from there.
That's also our buddy from Ali Studio who wants us to confused. So, okay, I want to redo my math. So it was 5 albums in 10 years, 97 to 2007, which I think is maybe at least one too many, if not two.
Wait a minute. By Megadeth?
Yeah, that's what I've got.
You said 5 albums in 10 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cryptic Writings, Risk, World Needs a Hero, System Has Failed, United Abomination. Yeah, okay.
So that's probably too many. You could one every 3 years, I think, is totally fine.
Well, but I think with Risk, if you kind of just sit there and do nothing after that, I mean, you can't let people stew in it. You gotta just flush that and move on, man.
Yeah.
Oof. So I mean, and like I say, the World Needs a Hero isn't great, but there's listenable songs again. And you can hear him. It was kind of like a "Oops, I'm sorry" moment, which I was okay with. I'm like, all right,
yeah, Dread and the Fugitive Mind. That's a cool one. Return to Hangar is kind of cool for what it is.
1,000 Times Goodbye. I always kind of like that song. Burning Bridges. Yeah, Bo actually mentioned it in the chat. Burning Bridges off World Needs a Hero is a killer song. His vocals in the chorus are superb. Crazy vibrato Dave got going on. Yep.
That one only loses points because we have 5 million songs with that title in it. So.
Right. Bobby Coyle says World Needs a Hero was my first exposure to Megadeth. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that was okay, but again, I was just glad to hear that they were going back to that style, because like I mentioned earlier, Metallica instead of renouncing that whatever the fuck they were doing on Load, they doubled down with Reload and then did St. Anger. It's like, what are you doing? Whew.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So then you get The System Has Failed, which famously was supposed to be a Dave Mustaine solo record, but then the label's like, nah, make it a Megadeth record. So I said, okay. Like, and I think this is kind of like, it's definitely going even, more back to the metal side of things. Couple great songs on this one, actually. I think if I had a main complaint about this record, it's that Chris Poland did the guitar solos, if I'm remembering correctly, and his lead tone was shit. It was like, yeah. But I mean, Blackmail the Universe, Die Dead Enough, and Kick the Chair, just awesome 3 tracks, opening the record. And then the rest isn't too bad. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Are you familiar with this one at all? Or I kind of dropped off until Endgame. So
yeah, this one is sort of when I came back. I really didn't pay much attention to the 2 before this for obvious reasons. But yeah, I saw this tour at Odeon. I think it was actually they played.
Okay.
I like the Scorpion a lot. That tune Back in the Day is kind of cool. It's like a sort of a throwback to how metal was in the 80s or whatever they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you. I thought the production was weird. It felt more hard rockish than metal, and I don't know if that's because the tone was bad. It's not like, I mean, Poland's definitely a metal player. I mean, he's all over Peace Sells, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. I did not know that. I know you said a couple of shows ago how this was supposed to be a Mustaine solo album, and I never heard that before. And it sort of explains, I think, the tone of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's decent. I don't know, that Kick the Chairs. The first two songs pretty good, like you said. I do like
I love
Scorpion,
Kick
like
the
I
Chair.
said. Yeah, I don't know. Part of it I like, and then part of it I'm like, is this the corny? It's so corny. The times sometimes when you hear these lyrics coming from Dave, and you're like, okay, I don't know about this one, but
well, I dig it. I thought it was cool. I was like,
yeah.
all right. So again, that was, it got better, than the world needs a hero, which is cool. And then they went into United Abominations, which might be the record I'm least familiar with. But I've listened to it a couple times, and I do enjoy it. I mean, it's a good record, and again, it got further back towards what you would expect from Megadeth. So, Sleepwalker's great. Washington is next. I don't know if you needed a remake of A To Limon, but Burnt Ice is good. United Abominations, Gears of War, like it's more of a metal record. So, I mean, I like this record. Are you familiar with this one?
Somewhat, yeah. It's kind of top heavy towards the front, right? Sleepwalker, great tune. The Gears of War, of course, everyone knows that one. I think towards the end it started, like you said, why are we doing a Toot Le Monde thing on here?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think, like, okay, we got 11 songs, 47 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Give me like 8 absolutely amazing songs, Don't give me like 4 that are pretty good and 2 you're like, and then the other 5 are like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I wish we had got more of that on some of these middle albums, but like we said, when you're putting out that much product, that's bound to happen.
Yeah. Well, Bo Van Bibber in the chat, he says, Bo is an awesome guitar player, by the way. He says, Chris Broderick never fit in that band well for me. Great player, just didn't work. I would disagree based on the first few tracks on this next record, which is when I really got back into Megadeth, and that is Endgame. So I thought that it was great. This was an album where I was kind of like, okay, this is, maybe not the whole thing, but okay, this is Megadeth just based. Okay, we're Megadeth, fuck you. This is back to what you would kind of expect. Dialectic Chaos, what an awesome intro track with all the crazy solos and the harmony parts, and then it goes into This Day We Fight, which is kind of like another Take No Prisoners. And I was like, holy shit, man, if this is what the rest of the record's going to be like, which unfortunately it wasn't, but I mean, the production was absolutely killer on this one. When Dialectic Chaos comes in, bam, 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 it's like just a killer guitar tone, man. Killer tone. So, 44 minutes is cool. 1320 is interesting. That's a little too for me, but Endgame's good. Head Crusher, I love that one. Funny story about Head Crusher. I saw them. I'll have to mention this later in the show, but when I went to see the Rust in Peace 20th anniversary tour, they played a couple other songs at that show outside of that record, obviously, and Head Crusher was one of them. And Dave was trying to get the crowd to do some crowd participation thing with it before he started the song, and it wasn't making sense. So the crowd's like, "What?" He couldn't get it, and he's trying for like 2 minutes, and he said something to the effect of, it was like, "But you guys are morons. Just play the song," or something like that. Like he totally bitched at the crowd for not getting it. And I was like, "You fucking idiot!" Like, it's I don't know what you're trying to do, and I'm a musician, for God's sakes. Like, holy shit! Like, so whenever I hear Head Crusher, I think about that. But
He tried to start a Here We Go Brownies, and nobody Nobody
Yeah, it
checked.
was like he was doing something like you're on the rhythm or something, but it was like kind of a weird off thing. I'm like, I can't follow where you're going
Oh,
with
the
this.
offbeat.
Yeah, I was like, good Lord, like, okay, interesting. But yeah, so I love Endgame, man. What do you think of this record?
Well, we just talked about it last episode,
Yeah.
right? So we're kind of repeating ourselves. Yeah, man. I mean, this to me had the closest kind of the feel of almost going back to Countdown, I think.
Yep.
Just that super tight, just a really tight kind of band sounding, like no extra goofiness needed, just quick and to the point and just a very tight metal sound all around. And like we said before, pretty top heavy, I guess, a little towards the front, but Head Crushers kind of towards the back there. And How the Story Ends, I kind of still like that song.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I mean, this is like them again, 12 songs, 50 minutes. Let's,
Yeah.
if you make it 9 and 41, we got probably we bumped this up in the as far as the catalog goes, right? As far as the
I would
ranking.
agree. And by the way, asshole, I know we just talked about it on the last episode. We're talking about it in the context of the Megadeth discography right now. So
Anyway, I think we just talked about this one in the last episode. Oh.
Oh my God. So Bobby Coyle says Endgame is in his top 3. Awesome. That's cool, man. I wonder what the other 2 are. Let us know in the chat. Jason Cluse, Circle J, says slightly off topic. This is an interesting thing. He said, just saw a Dave Ellefson short where he claimed that Mustaine wanted to re-record the No Life Till Leather EP, and Ellefson refused. Supposedly, that's when Mustaine began to have it in for Ellefson. Yeah, I had seen that. I don't know why you would ever try to do that, but yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. So yeah. Oh, what's up, Jim? Good to see you, man. Hail and Kill. Jackal 1, he probably only likes the first Megadeth record. He doesn't like anything past like 1974. So
What's his favorite Jackal album?
I wonder if he has one. Does he know who Jackal is? Bobby Coyle says his top 4 he's got up here. Peace Cells is first, Rust in Peace is second, 3 is Endgame, 4 is Dystopia.
Wow.
Man, you run the gamut of their discography. Damn, dude, nice. All right, so after Endgame, we then get into a couple. I mean, not too much to say about 13 or Super Collider. Super Collider literally had one good song. That was a major misstep. I think that was when we were like, yeah, what are you doing here? But I mean, 13 had a couple okay songs. It was kind of a letdown, I think. But I mean, it was all right. But I mean, Super Collider was awful. I mean, outside of Kingmaker, the rest was just like a wet fart. So definitely, yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, let me guess. You haven't listened to this one?
No, I know what song is it on here? I know. I actually know nothing on this one.
Let's say like Kingmaker, the opening track. Okay, cool. And the rest is like, I mean, not just downhill, but completely off a cliff.
Wait, which one are we on? On Super Collider, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know Kingmaker off there, and I know The Blackest Crow, which actually don't mind that song.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I literally don't know a single song off of 13, not one.
So. Well, 13 wasn't bad. Like Public Enemy #1 is kind of cool.
Okay.
Sudden Death is kind of cool. Guns, Drugs, Money is interesting to me. New World Order is actually, they had released that as a demo on one of the, I want to say it was Euthanasia, maybe, or Euthanasia or Cryptic Writings. It was a demo from back then that they never did anything with, but the demo was like pretty much finished. And then they just did an official version of it on this record, and it's pretty much untouched.
Should I go back to this one or?
Yeah, I mean it's forgettable, but it's not bad, I would say.
See right here at the bottom, 13 songs.
Yeah.
57 minutes. This is the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's one of your best points of the episode, man. I mean, I have to agree with you completely. It's like trim the fat. You know, I get it that records were getting longer at this time and everything, but
right.
I mean, they're and you could easily pick ones that you would just cut off. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would go check it out. I mean, the production's pretty decent, and
All right.
Doug McCauley, wet farts can be entertaining. um, and then we get to Dystopia, which is back on track and awesome production. And like we mentioned earlier, this is the one that Chris Broderick played on drums. And this is, man, I think this is an excellent record. A lot of great stuff. It wasn't as thrashy as I was hoping for. But I mean, are you a fan of this record?
I am.
Okay.
I think
I'm gonna put you in solo to talk about this one real quick.
I don't have that much to say about it.
Oh,
By the way, Chris Broderick is the guitarist, not the drummer. You said Chris Broderick.
Oh, Chris Adler. Chris Adler. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris Adler from Lamb of God. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, man. The first thing you notice about this album is the production is absolutely off the charts, and that's thanks to one Andy Sneap. And I always love trying to talk when I have to read what's going on right here. Dystopia. Oh, Bo Von Bibber says Dystopia won the Grammy and the house band playing Master of Puppets. Interesting. I did not know that. Okay, there has to be a YouTube video of that somewhere. We have to find that, Bo Van Bibber. Yeah, my favorites off of this: Threat is Real, Dystopia. What else did I? Conquer or Die was cool. Poisonous Shadows I liked. Again, 12 songs, 50 minutes. The very last album I think is the same kind of a deal. How many did we have on Sick, Dying, and the Dead? Let me double check that one. Yeah, 14 songs. So I'm actually going to go against my argument when we get to that one. But on most of these, we could trim the fat. But yeah, man, I mean, the band truly went out of their way, I think, on this to sound as metal and as big and get a modern sound, yet still have what makes Megadeth Megadeth. Bringing in a guy like Andy Sneap knows how to tap into that. And I think it's very important for older bands, especially, to get somebody like that to take them up a level and not be so stupid as to not listen to anybody on the outside. You know what I mean? Like there's always someone that can make, especially someone who's a fan of you, like we were just talking about, even writing the songs, a fan of you can probably make you better. And they had not had an album that sounded this good in a long time. I thought Endgame sounded pretty damn good, but even like the drums and stuff didn't sound like they sound on Dystopia. I mean, it's just sounds like like a multi-million-dollar recording.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Like I say, I think it's a really solid record. I thought there was kind of like a different energy to it, which I'm sure comes from talking about Endgame, or excuse me, Dystopia. A different energy based on Chris Adler being there and kind of having some input from the fan perspective, like we talked about. But it's just a really, really solid, great Megadeth record. And it kind of sucks that they're retiring, because these last few records have been getting better and better and better. Which leads us to the most recent one, which I know that you really, really like, and that, of course, is The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. Which, can you believe that's already 3 years ago?
No,
that's crazy, man. But yeah, I mean, this record. I mean, if you like the old school thrashy Megadeth, I think this is kind of like the record, the modern Megadeth record that you're into. And again, the production is absolutely stellar. And this record just attacks you. So I think this is a great record. I don't think it gets talked about enough. I'm surprised that more people, Megadeth fans, weren't all about this one, because it really kind of, I mean, it doesn't have the hooks, so to speak, of the classic Megadeth stuff, but it definitely has the attitude and the energy, I think.
Yeah, man, right off the bat when that dude's doing "Bring Your Sick, You're Dying," it's like ringing the bell and stuff. I don't know, man. There's something eerie about that, and of course, it's they're writing all this during the time of COVID's going on or whatever. Life in Hell's great. Night Stalkers with Ice-T on there is killer. I'm on record as I love that song "Mission to Mars," man. I think they should put that in their set. It's fucking great.
Right.
The two covers. I mean, I'm not gonna be one of those people that goes, "Oh, I love the original version of Police Truck," because I never heard it. But whatever version they're doing here is cool. I mean, it's just like it's just like angry punk Dave, doing
Yeah.
a what is it, Dead Kennedys song, I think.
Yes.
And
Dead
then the
Kennedys.
the tune with Sammy Hagar is awesome too, man. I mean, there's
That song rips, man.
yeah. I mean, this one has 14 songs. I think we probably could have got by with 10 here, but there's a good minimum 9 to 10, I think, just great tracks on this. And the guitars just scream off off into the headphones on this one. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just a lot of great stuff on here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. It's kind of like if you like the style of the first couple songs. Doug McCullough, the shtick, the crying, go to bed.
Oh God, that's great, man.
He's pulling out all the Weird Al stops tonight, man. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's one of those things where there's not too many flavors on this record, which is kind of cool. So if you like the first few songs, then you like the whole album, I think, because it's definitely just kind of one thing stylistically, which I don't have a problem with. It's this one kind of felt like a classic Megadeth record to me, so I really enjoyed that. And I know, I thought the videos were cool where they had that kind of like mini movie split into parts, so that was pretty sweet. So yeah, just an incredibly solid record. So it gets me really excited for this final record coming up in early 26, man. It's the interesting thing to me is that they haven't said shit about it. Have you noticed that? Like the last couple records, especially Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, we were getting updates constantly. Oh, well, we're in the mixing phase. Oh, we're doing this. We're doing this. And all of a sudden the other day it's, yeah, we got a record coming out in early 26. It's our last record. Like, wait, what? What the hell?
Yeah.
So it's, I'm interested to see what he does, especially because with this last one, he can really pretty much do anything he wants. So if he wants to just go back to the speed and obnoxiousness of killing is my business the whole time, like, there you go, last Megadeth record, fuck you. Like he can do it. So I'd be kind of stoked if that was what he did. I mean, do you have any expectations for this last record?
Are we thinking concept album? Probably not double album.
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Coyle's right, man. He says, based off the last two records, expectations are pretty high for this last one. The concept record, I don't think he'll do that.
No.
But what do you think the odds are we get some cheesy song about saying goodbye or the end or,
well, there's plenty of songs. There's plenty of songs about the end anyway.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we're going to get one like really heavy-handed, ham-fisted one? About saying goodbye or something.
You just wanted to get ham-fisted in the show again, didn't you?
It's one of my favorite terms.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite terms.
No, actually, I don't. I don't think Dave would do that to us. Okay.
I think it's almost a foregone conclusion personally. So we'll have to see. Which of us is correct. So personally, I would like it to be even heavier than Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. Just go out with a total middle finger. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if he'll do that, but that would be awesome if it happened. So, I just have a couple other things I wanted to get to here before we, take off for the night, because again, it's kind of crazy. Again, how influential this band was for me when I really sat down to think about it when he announced that they're retiring. I haven't gone to see them literally since 2010. It was at that Rust in Peace show, and it was in Indianapolis, and it was Exodus opening, and then Testament played next, and they played the entire Legacy record, and then it was the Megadeth set. And it was kind of cool, that show, because he literally didn't talk. Once I think they did Wake Up Dead and In My Darkest Hour or something first.
Okay.
And then the lights go to black, and then it's just him in a spotlight at the center stage, and he goes, "You all know why we're here," and just went and didn't say a word to the crowd till the record was over. I was like, this is cool. So, but I always remember that one because that was actually the first concert my wife and I ever went to together. and it
Okay.
was on March 11th of 2010. And me and my buddy Don, we were in APG at the time. We'd been in Gatlin, and he came over and jumped in the car, and we drove out to Lima, picked her up, and then headed to Indianapolis. And first concert we ever went to, man. And we met Testament after the show, which was really, really cool. And we saw Dave Ellison and Dave Mustaine at the merch table signing stuff, and it's just a great show, man. Just a really great show. So that was big. Shit, man, I almost forgot. Like I remember for Christmas, I want to say it was 95. It might have been 94. My younger brother got me a membership to the Megadeth Cyber Army. So I would get all the stuff in the mail, and I got these like limited edition CDs that no one else had but club members of, like, live recordings that were pretty pristine, actually. There was, you can find them out there now, but there was some stuff from the Countdown tour from the Cow Palace out in San Francisco that was just amazing. So I had all this Megadeth stuff, and oh my God, it was so much fun. I would get these things at random in the mail. I would drive my dad up a wall. We're getting this shit in the mail. Like, this is fucking Megadeth. And I was like, whatever, dude, Megadeth rules. So I did that. And one thing I wanted to mention that's kind of interesting, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in 2011, they released a deluxe edition of Peace Sells, and they have a live show on that was actually recorded at the Fantasy Theater here in Cleveland.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Huh.
So it's kind of funny because I was listening to that today. Today was a Megadeth day, go figure. While I was working, and I want to say it's right after the first song, Dave right in the mic goes, "Our monitor guy's a moron." It's just one of those classic Dave Mustaine being a dick moments. But yeah, it's nothing but Peace Sells and Killing Is My Business tunes, and it was recorded right here, in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, what's so funny about that is, like, so I've seen him 3 times. Okay, last time was Gigantor, it's Tower City, right? Time before that was the Odeon. System failed, and then the first time was Cryptic Writings, the World Series of Metal at the Agora. Like, so 97, 98, whatever, the album came out 97. So
I opened for them that show.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We used to use that as a promotional thing when Gatlin started out, because it was the World Series of Metal. They headlined Sunday night, and we were the first band on Saturday morning.
So, okay, I see.
But because you could look up flyers and see our name on there with Megadeth if you really looked.
You opened for Megadeth 2 days before they went on. That's hilarious.
We told people we opened for Megadeth.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was like 21. We were like trying to get any promo we could. Wouldn't you?
No,
do
that's
that?
hilarious though. Oh yeah, it's funny. I think it was the Misfits went on before, maybe. If I don't remember. But yeah, it's just funny. Do you think Dave ever just sits there and goes, okay, Metallica is not setting foot in a place that doesn't hold 29,000 people?
Yeah.
And it's like, look at the place. Like you just said, they recorded at the Fantasy. You saw them at the Agora Ballroom. I mean, the Odeon.
That's for you, Wardlaw. Anyway.
Oh, he's also in the Dream Theater.
Shut up.
Also.
Shut up, man.
I don't even have anything to drink. But no, but seriously, man. I mean, it's just, isn't it hilarious to think of all the like funky places that Megadeth has played? And like, I mean, arguably, I know their catalog hasn't sold as many, but like, as we're finding out when you go through the albums, a lot of pretty damn good ones in there, and a lot of pretty damn bad ones in there from Metallica.
Like, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like, Megadeth has had a much more consistent career.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last few Metallica records are solid, but I mean, I'm obviously on record as, saying Lars ruins it for me, but I mean, I think if you're to compare them, would you say that Sick, the Dying, and the Dead is more of a Megadeth album than 72 Seasons is a Metallica album?
Well, 72 Seasons is a Metallica album for what they are now.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right,
like you know what I mean? It's like you can hear that they just never kind of really went back to that classic, whereas Megadeth kind of tried here and there. So
yeah,
it's, I mean, that was where I was going with that. But yeah, I mean, to your
But
point,
why can't Megadeth? And it's obvious they can't, because look at what they're playing and didn't they play that Temple Live or something? Was it last year?
I think
Remember
that's
that?
where it was. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's where
last
it
summer
was.
or something, which doesn't even hold what 2,000. Why can they not sell 8,000 tickets? I don't get it. Is it strange, or is it me, or what?
Um, Man, that's hard. Matt Wardlaw.
Is it just
Yeah, he
because they
verified.
don't
Yeah,
have
they played Temple Live. Yeah.
it's just because they don't have an Enter Sandman? That every soccer mom and their kids will be like, fuck it, it's Metallica, we're going, that has a tramp stamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Truly? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's obviously got to be a part of it. I mean, outside of Symphony of Destruction, I mean, ask a casual music fan to name a Megadeth song. I mean, you might get Peace Sells, you might get Holy Wars, but other than that, no. But and honestly, you know, first of all, for me, again, I haven't seen him since 2010. I know that the set list, just the quote unquote hits that they play, have stayed the exact same. There's no deep cuts. There's never, there is just never, okay, well, here's like we just said, here's Mary Jane, like, holy shit. Here's Lucretia, holy shit. It's always Trust and Peace Sells and Holy Wars and Symphony of Destruction and I really think that it might be a credibility thing with the member changes and whatnot. And Circle J just put it in the chat. He says, I'm sure the constant lineup changes don't help. I mean, if you think about it, it really is kind of a turnoff, dude. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Once it became clear that it's just Dave and whoever the fuck isn't pissing him off at that particular time.
So I was trying to look up. It looks like Peace Sells is a 1.8 million album as of 2023. I mean, we're talking a band that sold, multi-million on multiple out. I don't know. They can't sell 5,000 tickets.
Well, again, they haven't really been at the forefront of anything for a while. And if you think about it, I mean, selling 2,000 is pretty damn good. I mean, Anthrax isn't selling that much. And Anthrax, I mean, outside of Volume 8, they haven't put out a bad album ever. And, I mean, for these classic, thrash bands and stuff, I mean, Testament's playing to what, 1,000, 1,200?
Yeah, but I'd argue that I'd argue that as much as we love those bands, they never remotely reached the pinnacle that Megadeth did.
No, I agree.
It's third tier as far as just popularity, but I don't know. It's many metal fans that are still out there and new people listen to metal. It just, the fact they can't sell, I don't know. It seems weird. I don't understand it. But some of your points make sense, I guess, as to why.
Matt Wardlaw, I will die on this hill. Volume 8 is not a good record. I don't know why you guys like that album. The production is their worst production. The songs are the worst songs in their career. There's a couple good songs, like the first 3 are bangers on that, but otherwise, no.
It's definitely the worst album cover I've ever seen in my life.
That one I'll disagree with. I think the album cover is kind of cool. The whole like 50s sci-fi looking thing. That's cool.
I think it's horrible.
Yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, the whole Megadeth thing. I mean, it is kind of weird, but again, I think with the lineup changes and unfortunately, I think if you look up videos, I mean, Dave's voice really, even before the cancer, was not good. I mean, I think, you and I went, what was it, 2011 when we went to the movie theater to see the first Big Four thing when they were showing it live from Sofia, Bulgaria. I remember we were like, when Mustaine and Megadeth was up there, we were like, ooh, his voice is not good. And then I know I have the Blu-ray of that show, and the vocals are so clearly re-recorded, because I was like, he didn't sound like that. We saw it live, man.
Yeah, but 45,000 people will go down to Brown Stadium to watch the abomination that is Motley Crue, you know, Vince Neil.
Yeah, but I think you hit it on the head. I mean, Motley Crue. If you ask an average music fan to name Motley Crue songs,
yeah,
you're going to get a lot more answers.
no, I
Whereas
know,
Megadeth is, you know,
I was talking more on the actual sounding performance.
well,
but,
yeah, like, yeah, it's definitely not good for sure. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to the you know, the farewell tour for Megadeth. It's like I gotta see him one more time just to be
for
like,
sure.
all right, this is cool, you know, and maybe they will pull out some crazy stuff. But I mean, it's interesting, you know, one last thing that I forgot about this in my notes. I looked this up. I'll have to send you the YouTube. I also interviewed Nick Menza for his solo record, which apparently like was not technically a solo record. It's called Life After Death, and it's just, apparently it turned into the music that's going in that they used for that biography, the biopic that they did of him that's coming out.
Okay.
I will never forget. It was like the first time I interviewed a rock star, first or second or something. And this fucking thing was so bad. And I hated to say it, and I was trying to interview him and talk about the record, but I couldn't get through the record. So
Really?
like, what'd you think of this song? I'm like, oh yeah, it was good, and this, that, and the other. And I felt so bad. And oh God. But in any case, yeah, so last question here. So would you say that Megadeth is the second most influential metal band ever? And the reason that I ask that is because I've had this discussion with other people, and a lot of people say Slayer, where I don't really see it. I think Megadeth was much more an influence than Slayer was. What do you think about that?
You're gonna say over Priest and Maiden too?
In thrash.
Oh, and thrash. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. To clarify, yeah, for thrash bands.
Influential. That's an interesting word. Yeah, I mean, because I think they like you said, they sort of carried the torch on, you know. It's that conundrum, right? It's like, okay, well, hey, why did you guys go back to, you know, everyone Metallica, if they did the same thing they always did, they're going to get crucified. When they try to do something different, they get crucified. But Dave sort of gets credit for staying to what he is, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably not. But at the same time, I mean, you also like know your strengths, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine to be experimental once in a while, but you don't have to do it on like 4 albums in a row, Metallica, you know, or not necessarily experimental, but, you know, come back to your roots at some point. Yeah, man, influential. Okay, well, give me 5 bands you think they influenced. Can you give me 3? Probably harder than you think.
Well, but I think you. I mean, for thrash, I mean, it kind of starts with Metallica when you think about it.
Yeah,
and then, you know, Megadeth kind of came right after, you know, and so Kale's saying, you know, second most influential metal band. No, the guys, thrash band. I clarified, so let me clarify it again.
I mean, one of our favorites, Symphony X, probably doesn't exist if there's not something like a Megadeth, you know.
I think there's a lot of them. I mean, it's because really, I mean, they were Metallica and Megadeth were the first two to do that style. You know, it was
tons of those European metal bands too, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it was fast and it was heavy, but again, I mean, there were hooks in that sort of thing, you know. I mean, it was, you know, as much as Mustaine's voice was, you know, some people love it, some people hate it. You know, there were, you know, I mean, shit like Hook and Mouth, for example. It was, you know, like F is for fighting, R is for red. Like, people remember that shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's and there's a whole bunch of examples of stuff like that. And even though there was just speed and aggression and everything, you know, Megadeth kind of, and obviously it's an obvious thing to say because, you know, Mustaine was one of the founding members of Metallica, but like, you know, Megadeth kind of took what Metallica was doing and again, added, some technicality to it, added
Yeah.
a certain just snarl. And so, and like I said earlier, I think if you'd be hard pressed to find a metal fan that, at least with the first five records, that would say, "Oh, I hate Metallica but love Megadeth," or vice versa. So,
I guess when I hear that word thrash, I lean more towards like Testament and Exodus, and we know Megadeth is on a different plane as far as album sales, right, and just production. But I just think in terms of taking that music and taking it a step farther, let's put it that way. And even like a band like, I know you don't like them, Overkill, they're light years what they've done, as compared to what. And I like Overkill as a band, but they've never really grown much from what they do, whereas Dave's taken his playing and with the modern production, taking it to sound like what a metal band, to what Megadeth should sound like in 2025 now,
Yeah. I just think that, and I'm going back to, again, like when I was a kid, the first 5 or 6 records, it was always Metallica, Megadeth, and then you started talking about other bands. That's just how it was.
Yeah, it's true.
And so that's why I just think, again, I've had a lot of people make the argument that Slayer would be behind Metallica as number 2 in terms of influential thrash bands. But I don't think there was as much meat on the bone there, because Slayer was all about just pretty much like, when you think Slayer, you think speed and brutality, and that's it. That's, there's not a lot else there. Whereas with Megadeth, you have the speed. Sometimes it gets a little bit of brutality, but you've got the hooks. You've got something a little more memorable. I mean, with Slayer, obviously you go to Rain and Blood, which is 32 minutes of just
right.
Awesome. I mean, it's kick ass.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people go back to like Hell Awaits or something, or Haunting the Chapel, like they're good stuff. But to me, Megadeth again had those first 6, even 7 records, and it was just so consistent and so just all over everybody's radar, I think. So
it's making me wonder even more, why can't they just sell 5,000 tickets everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. It's like, I don't know. Again, I think it's just because they don't really have anything that the mainstream public recognizes outside of Symphony of Destruction. So yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to run that by you. But I think we're Megadeth out for the night. So why don't we jump out of here? Yeah. Very, very interesting. I'll be interested to see how the record turns out, how long they tour. I think he said it's going to be like 2 years or something, like 26 and 27. And yeah, I'll definitely be going. And I want to see if they have some big blowout at the end. And, like you asked earlier, who are they going to go on tour with? And it's crazy. Doug said it much earlier in the show in the chat. He was like, it's weird thinking about a world without Megadeth. Like, yeah, like I say, it's a constant, and all of a sudden it's not there anymore. So, R.I.P. Megadeth.
I mean, there's a New Testament album coming. That I'm just saying, like, how would that not be? I mean, how is that not a no-brainer?
I know. That, I mean, I'm already going to the Megadeth show, but especially if they get Testament on there, like I am, man.
Yeah, just make it a fucking, I mean, make it an event. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But
I think the only thing that keeps it from doing that is Dave's ego, just wanting all the spotlight on him, and not like some people like, oh,
you're still going to get plenty though, man. I mean,
never underestimate the ego of
yeah. I mean, I guess.
Clear Sight Photography. Great comment to close the show, man. Megadeth is a badass monster of a creation. Damn sure is, man. All right, so on that note, we are going to jump out of here. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to another episode of Talking Into Infinity, a Dream Theater-centric podcast. Looking forward to the Ernie Ball Dream Theater performance tomorrow. Not sure what time that thing goes live. but it's definitely going to be cool. So let's see. Our next show will be Thursday, September 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here at all of our fabulous locations. I won't try and list them so that I don't blow the close like I I just blew it anyway. Forget it. I fucked up the open. I fucked up the close.
We're gonna be blah.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. We're back here on Thursday, September 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So, guys, go jam some Megadeth. Whatever your favorite Megadeth record is, go jam it loud, jam it long. And that's kind of what I do to Matt Wardlaw's mom. So anyway, wanted to make sure to fit that one in there. Yeah. So till next time, guys, I am your host, John. He is Brian, and we will catch you guys next time. Or, as we love to say, Carpe Diem.